I gave a speech on the floor of the House about a year ago entitled The United States House of Free Stuff, about this body. When a number of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle came down and talked about all of the student loans that would be forgiven, all of the spending that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle would offer, with no indication of how it would be paid for. Because why would you do that? Look, the fact of the matter is, this body, the People's House, is never going to be serious about representing the people until we stop spending money we don't have, stop allowing for the printing of money to carry out the very things the American people sent us here to stop doing, stop funding the very bureaucracy that are carrying out the actions that we decry in our own campaigns. We're never going to get this country on track until we stop printing money, borrowing money, and spending money we don't have. I would defy any one of my colleagues, anyone, this side of the aisle or the other side of the aisle, to come prove that statement wrong. And when we're $32 trillion in debt, or almost, and we keep having a debate about who's going to spend more money on which program of our choice, how is that going to save the country? With all due respect to colleagues on my side of the aisle, I've heard numerous Republicans say, we are not going to touch defense spending. Okay, good for you. Maybe I agree. Maybe we shouldn't touch defense spending. Maybe we need more defense spending to beat China. But then what, pray tell, is your solution to fund it? I promise you, and my request, all my Republican colleagues out there, come on down. If you're the ones saying you will not touch defense spending, you come down here and you give me a solution. Don't hide behind the men and women in uniform. Don't go, oh no, we're not going to touch defense spending. We need more defense spending. We need to beat China. I might agree with you, but I'm not going to sell printing and borrowing money that undermines the very national security that you're going out and talking about. To my Democrat colleagues, you come down here, don't say a word about how you're going to spend or pay for any of the spending, any of the programs that you stand up and applauded last night when the President of the United States is talking about it. You say you want to have non-defense spending. You want to have more funding for HUD, more funding for HHS, more funding for programs, more funding for some COP grants or whatever it is. It wouldn't be for COP grants. But you want this more funding. How are you going to pay for it? The answer is no one is going to come down here and give an answer to that. With the possible exception of two things. My Democratic colleagues will come down and say taxes. Okay, why don't you come down? Let's have a conversation about taxes. Come down and show me what taxes you want to raise that will not cause economic impact such that our revenues actually go down. Come show that to me. Let's have a debate about that. My colleagues on this side of the aisle will tend to say, well, it's the mandatory spending. Don't you understand? Don't worry about discretionary spending. That's small ball. Well, a third of our budget is discretionary spending still, so I'm not sure that's small ball. I mean, it is, after all, like $6 trillion. I don't consider that small ball. And my colleagues aren't incorrect that we've got to deal with mandatory spending. But you can't hide behind mandatory spending to say that's the problem, while you then say, well, we got to increase defense spending. And well, I don't know that I would increase all that other non-defense spending, all those agencies. But you know what? That's what my Democrat colleagues want. So the only way I can get my defense spending is to agree to what they want. And one day we'll deal with mandatory spending. So what the hell? $32 trillion of debt and counting. But that's exactly what happens. And again, to any of my colleagues, come down here and prove me wrong. Come on down. I'm here. Come debate me. American people actually want to have a debate. Maybe we should have that debate every day, all day, until we come to some conclusion about how we're going to stop doing the same thing over and over again. Stop spending money we don't have. Now, I'll tell you my solution. I actually believe you should come to the floor and come here to debate and have solutions.